Greetings, brothers and sisters, kings and queens, grand rising. This is Michael Hamer, the Rainbow Warrior, coming back at you. Tonight, I want to talk about, we talk about COVID, the disease that's going around, the epidemic. It's more than one epidemic. There's a lot of mental epidemics going on, mental illness. The kids, people complain about the children, they fighting each other, that's an epidemic. Black on black crime epidemic. Crime period around the world is an epidemic. Mental health is an epidemic all the way around the world because people think that you have to be mental illnesses, you have to be crazy or something like that, shooting up places, raping people, and there's other kind of forms of mental illness. And you could be a humble person and still be mentally ill. You don't have to do all of that. And one of the mental illnesses we're fighting is a bunch of lies. That's the main mental illness, dis-ease. Disease, dis-ease, that means your body is not at ease, your mind is not at ease. So I want to talk about the brain, the emotions, and how we all connected to everybody and everything, and how emotions got a lot to do with the way the world is ran, the way the weather, the universe, and everything is out of order. Well, we are out of order, not everything in the universe, but nature in the universe is calling on us to line back up with it, reconnect back with our true nature that they provided for us, universe and nature, through evolution. And this is all part of evolution. So there's a lot of dysfunction going on in the world, and there's a lot of mental illness. That's why a lot of people, to understand mental illness, you got to go all the way back when you was in your childhood. And that's where it all started, the false doctrine, indoctrination. Since we've been in America, they took all of the truth and turned it into lies. They took it away from us, our true nature, and turned it around and back and made it backwards, make us see the world backwards, made us just like them, primitive. A lot of people walk around in a primitive state of mind. That's where their anger and dysfunction come from, because they're in a lower vibration. And your lower vibration, they got a lot to do with your chakra system, your endocrine glands and everything. That's your chakra system. So emotions guide you through your life. Your brain guides you through your life. So your emotions, people talk about stress and how stress, they never tell you how stress will kill you. They say it kill you, but they never tell you how. Your own emotions, you could kill your own self and stress your own self out. You think it's the outside force that stress you out, or people that's around you that stress you out, but all of the time it's inside. You got a battle within. And that's what I want to talk about today, the battle within, and how did the battle get there? How did you get on unbalanced brains and everything? Because we the only creatures on the planet that's not obeying the laws. When they talk about fallen angels, they talking about man. We the ones that fell from the natural law. But in our cases, it was taken from us. We had it when we came over here on the slave ships. But they took it away from us. They had the Bible in one hand and the belt in another hand. That's why they call it the Southeast United States, Southeast United States, the Bible Belt. Because they used the Bible for brain control, for mind control. The truth is in the Bible, but you got to read between the lines. And those stories about us. Just like you got two stories of Jesus, you got two stories of all of those characters in there. The black Jesus and the white Jesus. The black Jesus tell you that the white Jesus say, oh, I had healing hands, I healed you with my hands by the touch. But the black Jesus say, no, you healed yourself. The black Jesus hung around with the murderers, the thieves. He hung around in the hood. He didn't ask for no money. He didn't have no book. He said don't charge for it. And all the preachers and these religious, so-called religious leaders, they going against the principles that the black Jesus said. Now the white Jesus, they going by what he said, what they taught them to say and to believe in. Can no man walk on water? The laws of gravity won't allow you to, but the sun, S-U-N. If you look at when it's going coming up, rising up, and going down. It look like it's on top of the water if you're on the east around the ocean. You can see it coming up and it's rising. It looks like it's walking on water. So that book is first and foremost, it's a book on astrology. It's a book on your brains and how everything is connected. The universe, the plants, the animals, and everything is connected to your brain and connected to you. But it's also about behavior, a behavioral book. You see, the study of psychology is to study animal and human behavior. So the animals will teach you a lot about your own behavior. That's why they say, as long as man don't come and alter their laws that they were given through nature and domesticate them, they still obey their laws. We the only ones outside the law. So that's what the fallen angels really are. We fell from the laws of nature and the universe. Man is trying to do it on his own. So we at a point now, a pivotal point in the universe and evolution in nature that we got to line up with it. It's not going to line up with us. We got to adapt to it. We will not to adapt to us. That's how we got to the point where we're at now. Because earthquakes, the weather, it made you adapt to it. So in other words, you may watch the animals, how to build things, how they work together, and that's where we get our wisdom from nature, by mimicking the animals and everything like that. But also we had to evolve into our laws from our lower brain, the reptilian brain, that's your primitive brain, from our primitive self to our civilized self. The Homo sapiens sapien, that's the very, very wise man. And we the ones created civilization. And being civilized is being peaceful and humble. That's why they say the meek and the humble will inherit the earth. They're the ones that's going to be obedient to the law. That's why so much dysfunction going on in the world and disease and mental health going on in the world, because we're outside the law. We're not going by our natural law. So a lot of people walk around under hypnosis, mind control, that don't even know it. And religion is the main culprit. Religion and the politics, they're the main culprits. See, that's the last place I send my children, to a church, because they don't do nothing but indoctrinate you. They don't educate you, they indoctrinate you. I was just telling somebody the other day when my sister, one of them, she was Catholic, and I went to a church with her sons one Sunday, and they were giving out grape juice and what they call the communion. You drink the blood of Jesus, and then they give you this stale cracker to eat. Eat the body of Jesus Christ, this imaginary friend. But I started thinking about it. I say that's some satanic shit. You want to drink somebody's blood and eat, and that's what they're about, death. They're about blood and Draculas and all of that stuff. Look at their movies, how they make a lot of wars and a lot of death. Walking Dead and all of this stuff. That's because they're in a primitive mindset. That's why they create these evil things, because they see the world backwards. They call it their lower vibration. So the lower vibration, in order to get to your lower vibration, you got to come from your root chakra. That's where a lot of energy is stored. But if you got bad energy locked up in you, you had to get past the heart chakra. And that's where the problem begins. Once you get to the heart, can you get past that? Because the only way you can get past that, you got to be obedient to the law. You got to change your mind. You change your brain, you change your mind. You change your life. You got to unlearn and relearn what you learned over here, because they indoctrinate you. They don't educate you. Just like they teach you to pledge allegiance to the flag when you're a child. They indoctrinate you. See, all this is the real witchcraft, is to indoctrinate you with lies so you can submit to their ways and their beliefs and all their propaganda, which don't make no sense. People say common sense will tell you. If you had common sense and was thinking with common sense, you got to be raised by common law, which is the laws of the universe and nature, to actually use your true common sense. Because you could be raised by nonsense and listen to those lies instead of the truth. So if you've been programmed as a child to believe in something that is not real, and you've been programmed, because the brain is a program, it's going to conceive what has already been taught. So a child is not responsible for if he go on the wrong path or the righteous path, because the parents, that's their job. They're responsible for putting the child on the righteous path. Like I said, take the father's road and the mother's road together on that positive energy, that positive natural law that the universe and nature gave us, in that's already written in the child's heart. And every child on this planet would naturally conform to that law. And that's how you're going to bring harmony. But first, you got to see how they brainwashed you and how they got there, how they got to this point. Because the truth is revealing itself. There's a lot of people becoming real conscious, coming from their lower vibration to their high vibration. And like I say, if you want to get past your heart chakra, because the heart got a brain of its own, it got emotions, it thinks different than the brain itself, because it controls the brain, sends signals to the brain all day, to the rest of your body all day. And it's part of your chakra system. So in order to get get to your higher vibration, you got to get past the heart and all that energy. If you got bad energy, it's not going to go past the heart. And that's when the real disease and the real battle are going to begin. Once you hear the truth, you cannot hear it. So your own battle zone between your own two ears, the lie and the truth, the devil and God. The devil is your primitive nature. God is your civilized nature. That's all it is. It represents. There's no characters and stuff like that. It's you. It's your duality, dual nature. So when a child is born, he's in that primitive state of mind, but he's not evil. He's just a wild animal that need to be tamed and trained. And that's where the whole village and the parents come in at. But you got to be taught how to raise a child. The father got to be taught how to be a father. And the mother got to be taught how to be a mother. Got to be taught how to be spouses. Because the whole family unit is sacred. It's supposed to be sacred. They were talking about lady breastfeeding her children the other day, and they was laughing at it, and they was making mocker, making fun of it, what they're doing, because that's lusting. There's people over there in Africa still go braless, and nobody never lust, because your breasts are sacred. They supposed to be valued, because that's the main source of nuclear energy that we supposed to be drinking from our mother's breast instead of from a bottle. So we're not getting the proper nutrients and everything, and that bond when you using the bottle instead of the breastfeed, being breastfed, because a lot of babies reject the breast, not the breast milk, but the artificial milk. A lot of people say, "Oh, my baby, I got to change the formula," but you never have to change the formula of breast milk, because that's energy. That's nature's energy. That's for brain development, health, and everything. Your health, and so we got to go back to the natural. Even the foods we eat. We're really not truly meat eaters like they are. They had to eat meat because they couldn't grow plants and vegetables and fruit over there in Europe because it was too cold. So that's where they got caught up in their lower vibration when they was cut off from the rest of the world. And they still in that lower vibration because they think they rule the world. And and like I say, that's the part of your brain, they call it the reptilian brain. I think I mentioned this before. It got the 4 F's plus some other things. Fight, flight, feed, fornicate. It also got gang mentality. That's why you see a lot of gangs ganging up with each other, because they're in their wild state of mind. It's about survival. They want to have sex. That's the fornication part. So that part of your brain got to be tamed and trained. That's why your that was the first part of your brain to develop, the primitive part, the reptilian brain. The middle brain is the bird brain. That's where your emotions. So you had to evolve into emotions to control that part of your brain, the lower part of your brain. And they say, "Oh, you got a big head. Oh, you got a big forehead," and the forehead is what separates us. The frontal lobe. It's the one that separates us from all animals and all other creatures on this planet, because that's where a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts, and everything is put together. And it's also where the sunlight hit your forehead and activate your pineal gland. So people be talking about how big your head is. The bigger the head, the bigger the brain, the smarter you be. You could be. That's why the brain had evolved. We do have big heads. But where did they get this big head and big brain concept from? If you look at astrology and the aliens they be talking about, how you know they're not talking about us? Because all those Star Wars movies and all of that stuff is based off of African folklore, African documentaries. X-Men is built off of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Everything they got from us and is surrounding us. So in other words, they want to be us. But they can't be us because of the melanin. And that's what separates us from everybody else, the power of the melanin. And the more I educate myself on melanin, the more powerful, more I see how powerful we truly are. So the aliens with the big heads and the big brains, they talking about us because the Bible even tell you it's a book on astrology. Like I said, it started out with Genesis, genes and Isis. You put that together as Genesis. So it's letting you know that the woman was here first in that book right there. But they tell you that Eve came from Adam's rib, which is a lie. It's a fairy tale. There's nowhere possible, no kind of information, scientific, you could prove that man gave birth to a woman when every day the woman gave birth to the boy and the girl. So the universe, nature, the planet, Mother Nature, Mother Earth, Mother Africa, everything is built off the feminine energy. Even your chakra system is after the feminine energy. Even when the child is a fetus, at first all children got the female organ, and then when that Y chromosome kick in, then the vagina turn into the penis. So it's elongated vagina. So everything starts with the female. That's why it's important for I try to get my sisters to understand that they are not in their true state of mind. The anger they carry, angry black woman syndrome. We got to address that. They always talk about it, but nobody never address it and try to figure out why they're angry. Like I said, the black women are the key. The black men are the key too, because we the one creating the laws that everybody on this planet is supposed to go by. And those laws are blueprinted in every child's heart on this planet. So if every child on this planet receive the same positive message that nature and the universe provided for everybody to use, the methodology and everything to instill the truth and put each child on the righteous path, everybody on the planet will have harmony. It's the only thing that's going to bring harmony. It's about balance. That's why we need to, I talk about the family a lot, the reconstruction of the black family, how important it is. So we got to address these problems that are black on black crime and everything. You know, it's crime all around the world. It's white on white crime, Chinese on Chinese, Japanese. It's crime all over the world. So everybody's brains are scattered all over the earth, planet, and the emotions that people are putting back into the universe is messing up. Is not meshing with the electromagnetic energy. It's not messing with the flow. So they say, yeah, Mike, whatever you put in the universe, you get it back. So that means that we connected to the universe. 666, that's 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. And it's carbon, those are atoms. So we came from the stardust. That's our original home. So the aliens they've been talking about us. When I first saw ET and say phone home, it made me wonder, you know. Then I saw the Predator, he took his helmet off, he had dreads. And I said, they're trying to tell us something. Then when I saw, they said that the aliens built the pyramids. And when they showed Alien versus the Predator, I said, I'll be doggone. They fighting over the pyramids. I said, these people are talking about us. See, they misdirect our eyes. You got you looking up in the sky for a good man and the ground for a bad man, which they never existed. But the higher power is the sun and the universe. You also got the lower power too, electromagnetic energy that comes from the earth. There's a lot of electricity come from, like they say, as above, so below. It's energy. So your body is fully electromagnetic energy. So your emotions were put there, your middle brain was put there to control your lower brain, your primitive nature. But you got to be taught to control your emotions. That's why they say the child, he's wild, he's bad. He's not bad. He just haven't been taught. He don't know any better. Everything a child learns, he needs to know he has to learn it. He has to learn how to walk, talk. If the mother's singing and sing to the child in the womb, and when they come out and she keeps singing to him, the child will pick up on it, the voices, the vocal cords. They grow up singing, they'll naturally line up. And as anybody could do that, whatever you want your child to be. If you're an angry person and a crazy mother and a crazy father, you might raise a crazy child, like a serial killer, because you're going to pass that energy to that child. So all over the world, we passing some bad energy to the children. That's why they fight themselves, and they think the enemy is on the outside, but the enemy is on the inside. So nature in the universe is forcing us to change. We got, like I say, we got to adapt. It is not going to adapt to us. So we got to return back to our natural state of mind. The only way you're going to do that and change your mind is go back to the natural law. But first, you got to hear it before you see it. Because our brains process information where you hear it, not the way you see it. So you could lie to your children and indoctrinate these lies and stuff. That's why the people keep taking their children to church and indoctrinating them with this Jesus stuff, this belief, the Allah stuff, Jehovah stuff, you know. And it's all for mind control. And all those religions was created by Europeans. Baptists, Islam, all of them was European. And like I say, we're spiritual people. We're not religious people because everything is built off of spirituality. We connected to the sun, the moon, the earth, the stars, the animals, the plants. Even when we bring the plants give us oxygen. Even when we breathe the oxygen, we breathe it back out. We feed the plants with the oxygen. See, so we all connected, and we seen the power of hate. Now it's time to see the power of love, because love will conquer hate. But I'm talking about the true love, not because somebody say I love you all the time. Anybody can say that. That's an overused word. My wife told me, said, Mike, you don't say I love you. Look, I said I don't need to because I teach it. I don't have to brag on who I am because people tell me who I am. Oh, are you a Muslim? Are you? No, I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. This guy asked me, he's Muslim. He asked me the other day, do I still have my knee on the white people's neck? I said, I got it on the black people's too. I said, because both of y'all, neither one of us right. They killing us and we killing each other. So he said, I didn't mean to get you started. I said, no, yes, you did. You stay in your lane and keep your Muslim stuff to yourself because guess what? Can no religion and stuff stand up to our spirituality? And all religions is a spin-off of our spirituality, our African spirituality. It's just manipulated lies. That's all. Took the truth and manipulated the hell out of it, but the truth is still in those lies. Because one thing about the truth, you cannot change that. It'll never change. It'll kill you before it kill you. Kill us. Kill it. Just like nature. Nature's not gonna let you get away with this. Universe is gonna destroy the lies before you can destroy it. So what I'm saying, the black family and the black people, sisters and brothers, melanated people, we have to rise up because we have a special connection. We have a carbon melanated connection, radioactive carbon connection to the stars, the universe, and everything. Nobody else had a connection but us. That's why they had to come through us to get their rhythm, to get their ideas, to get everything. Because we the one evolved and created this stuff. We created civilization. A lot of people say we can't recreate civilization. I say, yes, we can. I say it's happening now, but Enough of us is enough of us that's conscious now to put our voices together to shake the whole world and shake the universe. Because it's the message that the universe is waiting on to send, that love vibration. And it's the purification is going to start. It's already started. That's why a lot of people say, oh, it's a lot of people dying. It's the COVID disease and the pandemic, but it's more than disease pandemics. There's a lot of people panicking around the world because they don't know what's happening. They can feel it, but they can't pinpoint it. They say days going by faster. Oh, the weather's messed up. The earth is shaking. It's all earthquakes. It's hurricanes and everything. And people don't know this bad energy that we put in the universe got effect on all of this. That's no brag. That's a fact. These are facts. So I'm so connected. I'm so in my high vibration. I could hear the voices of the universe, voices of the planet, the voices of the sun, the moon, the stars, the animals, the plants, everything, because it's all connected and it's waiting on us to send that love vibration, and everything on this planet gonna feel it. I think I mentioned one time in my other videos that the heart frequency, you could pick it up from the satellites from outer space. So that lets you know our hearts are connected to everything. And a lot of people got black hearts on this planet, and it's affected them the most. The ones that's the meek and the humble, the ones that accepting the truth and becoming conscious of it and using it and obeying to it. Their generation is going to rule the earth, the meek and the humble. And so they're going to inherit the earth. So when you inherit something, that means everything is going to be free. See, the white man, he came and put a price tag on everything that nature provides for free. Food, death, birth, you name it. They put a price tag on it. Health, all of that. They put a price tag on it. Even water. And I tell everybody, when the sun shines, it's for everybody. The moon light up the skies at night, it's for everybody. Because that's what produced nature. And the rain that it produces for everybody. And this planet is for everybody. Should nobody be paying for nothing? Should no child be left behind hungry? So this is all part of evolution. We get into that. We're going to be into that promised land like King was talking about. But the first promised land he really talking about is up in your brain. See, once you're free-minded, you'll see the world the way you're supposed to see it. And nobody can tell you what you can and can't do. You don't need to be governed over nobody. And the government and the churches, they're in their last days, they just don't know it. The blind leading the blind, because neither one of them have no solutions to what's going on in the world. As long as they stay in the white people's hands, they're going to fight and kill because that's their mindset. I didn't want to believe it at first. And when I talk about white people, I'm not talking about all of them, because everybody got good and bad in all colors, all ethnic groups. They got good and bad in them, except for some places over in Africa and some places in the island where the white people haven't penetrated, and they still doing the same natural laws and living off of nature. That's what I'm talking about. They have unity. They raise their kids to be humble and be masters of their own self. So when they leave home, they put them out of the universe, they'll be able to cope with it. And right now, we're not doing that, because how you going to raise your kids when the parents not on the same page? When they got bad energy in them, and they passing it to the children. All they arguing and fussing, and they say you're not supposed to fuss in front of the children, but you still do. So you're going to keep them in a lower vibration, in a permanent state of mind, because they're going to think this is the way this supposed relationship, this is where I'm supposed to be a man, this is where I'm supposed to be a woman. But that's not our true nature. How you going to be humble and peaceful inside when you've been raised to be angry? And all this angry energy around you. So children will suck up either one. So it's up to the parents. You can bring the children all you want. The parents haven't left them anything. And right now the children are teaching the parents. because you can't hide the truth from the youth now, because through evolution, that's why I say each generation gets smarter and wiser. You can't fool the children anymore. So what we've been looking for, we already possess. It just needed to be nurtured with the right message, because we're in the age of information, and we had the information back then that we have today. And the communication, they messed up when they gave us a cell phone. They won't let us on the mainstream, but we still streaming. We still out there. You know, our voices are still being heard, and they can't stop us. But once we hit the mainstream media, it's a done deal, because they don't want another Martin Luther King or Malcolm X to get that exposure. So they keeping us down and stuff, but it's too many of us now. Even white people, all other groups of people. There's a lot of people waking up. But we are the vanguards of the New World Order, because we had that spiritual melanated connection to everything. When they say he gave dominion over everything, he first and foremost, that's us. He gave all people dominion over everything, but they got to come through us. We get more respect from the animals, from everything, because that's our true nature, because we know how we are connected. And we kill something, we're going to eat it. We have respect for nature, even under this oppression that we've been going through all these years, the 400 years of oppression. Our greatness still been shining through. We're just not conscious of it. We talk about it, but we're still not conscious of it. You speak the truth, but you don't hear yourself. You don't hear your inner self, your inner God. Until after the fact. Some told me I shouldn't have. I should have listened to my first thought. So that's your brain trying to put you back on the righteous path. That's your true instincts that's talking to you. Your ancestor wisdom and knowledge that's talking to you, but you weren't taught to obey it. You were taught a lie, to disobey it. That's why I say you're on battles. The battle you fighting, the most fierce battle anybody gonna fight is between their own two ears. Because once you hear the truth, you're accountable then. So once we put our voices together, what's the black anthem? Anthem, lift every voice and sing to our earth and heaven ring. See, that's alignment. We're going to be in tune with that. But our voices, once we put that out there in the universe, you'll see the different effects. It's going to heal and it's going to kill. And that's the only weapon we need, is the truth. Because like I said, we are the blueprint of that truth. We created it. We created the laws and everything. And we're the first ones to fall from it. So those are the fallen angels. You want to talk about the fallen angels, that's us. No ifs, ands, ends and buts about it. That's why the Europeans was able, and the Easterners, the Far Easterners, came to Africa and took it over, because we was more civilized and they was uncivilized. They didn't come to make peace. They come to take. They came to take, and they did. And they did a good job. But we didn't go down easy. We fought back. But because of these sophisticated weapons and guns and stuff, then, and they Bible, of course, you had to break their will first and change their minds first before, you could take control over everything. So they forced their religion and their ways on us. In other words, they domesticated our minds, brainwashed. So a lot of people walking around on hypnosis don't even know it. Worshiping imaginary friends, but hating your black father. Where's the love at? I say we seen the power of hate. Now it's time to see the power of love. And the truth is love. That's why it's only one universal truth, and that universal truth is blueprinting everybody on this planet in the mitochondrial gene. The ancestor wisdom is locked up. It's waiting to be activated. And once activated, like I say, that's the most fearsome battle you're going to fight right there. So I'm going to run from it. So I'm going to run to it. Some is going to comfort some ears. It's going to burn some ears. But the ones that burn ears, they're going to run. And like I say, you could go and hide up on the rock, but you can't hide from the kingdom. Because once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And that's the real battle that people got to fight right there. And you can bring your guns, your religion, and all this to this battle. You would not win because the spirit in you and the universe and nature don't recognize none of that. When they say bare arms, they mean bare arms. They mean your muscles. You live to fight another day, not to draw a gun on somebody. So people don't understand their subconscious mind. They say, they'll point out what's going on, but then they'll say, I just don't understand because you don't have the knowledge to put it together. And you can't go outside. A man can't, or a woman can't go outside their knowledge. You could tell when people be trying to explain something, they keep going in circles and they caught up in that circle. And the only way you're going to come out of that circle is to free your mind. You got to liberate your mind first from all that garbage and all the lies you've been indoctrinated with. So once you liberate your mind, then you'll see the world the way you're supposed to see it. And then when you start educating yourself, you'll see how much energy you can absorb, positive energy that's around you. You start reading all this ancient wisdom and knowledge and start waking up inside you. You start putting things together that you haven't even read yet. Because that ancient knowledge and wisdom has been activated within. Now you try to fight that truth and everything, you're just going to really get stressed out. That's why a lot of people kill themselves, commit suicide because they can't take it, they can't handle it. They're so emotionally stressed and in pain. Because if you notice those people that's in pain, they try to hurt other people because they think it's an outside force that's trying to hurt them. When people point out bad things about other people, 9 times out of 10, they're talking about themselves. Because you've got knowledge of yourself, your evil self, and you see somebody else doing the same thing, it's easier for you to point it out. But you don't even know you're talking about your own self. It take one to know one. I didn't understand what they said at first, but I know now. So you got to judge yourself before you judge somebody else. So if you know it's something wrong with them, you don't know it's something wrong with you until somebody tell you. And then a lot of people deny it because it's cognitive dissonance. You messing with their core belief. But like I tell everybody, you can believe a lot of things. If you can't back that up with scientific facts and common sense, you better leave it alone because it's a lie. Care what nobody taught you, your preachers, your mother, your father, teachers at schools, everything. Until you see for yourself and you find out, you do your own research and find out if it's conducive for everybody on this planet, that's what you keep. But if it's not, you leave that alone. You can't prove it with facts. Because they say we couldn't read. Yeah, they wouldn't let us read back then, but that time period is over with. Or you get messed with a black woman, you get hung from a tree. That time is over with because you look at the television, it's black and white couples all over the place. See, so change is here. And can't nobody stop it. We got to adapt to it. It's not going to adapt to us. And I tell everybody, the melanated, the dark skin, the melanin that we got, the electromagnetic energy is attracted other people in the race. It's only one human race. So for the original truth, you got to go to the original people. That's us, the blueprint. Everything started with us. Everything going to end with us. Got to come through us. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got your alpha males. You got your beta males. As long as you could try to control the alpha female, you could control the nation of people. You control the alpha male, which is the black man, the melanated man. You can control the planet. So we got to take our energy back and our power back. We got to take our throne back, kings and queens. And the only way you're going to do that is get to know thyself, your inner self, not the outer self. Because when you get sick from within, that's when you start paying attention to your inner self. They say they feel in the jailhouse because we're doing the work for them. We got to get them before they get to that point. And the only way you're going to get to them before that is the parents. You got to put the family back together. The father's role is very, very important. The mother's role is very important. And if you see the children, they gravitate, and because the mother, she's the one that get the law and instill the law into them. Daddy is the enforcer of the law. That's why a lot of women been brainwashed. I don't need no man. I'm the mother and the father. That's a lie. That's not that common sense. Common sense will tell you you're not the mother and the father. But if you've been taught something to believe something or a lie, and your brain accept it, you've been programmed to believe that. That's what it's going to believe. That's why I tell a lot of people the brain can be tricked. Your subconscious mind, that's a dangerous place. And that's where the battle is going to take place, is in the subconscious mind. And that's a scary place because you got information locked up in there that you don't even know you have. You don't even know you have it until somebody come and activate your inner self, the God that's in you. You wake up. And once you wake up, now it's on you. You're accountable. And a lot of people got that bad energy and they're not going to make it. They had a chance to repent. Repent means to change your mind, reprogram your brain, unlearn and relearn. So you change your brain, you change your life. When they talk about the mind, the heart got a mind, the brain is a mind, the stomach got a mind, it got a brain also, your liver, it got a brain because all of it got its own function. So that's why you got to look within. Are you eating healthy? They say man don't live by bread alone. It's the spiritual food that a lot of people digest that's really killing them. Like I said, in the Southeast United States, the Bible Belt, they number one in heart disease, number one in divorce rate, child abuse, everything in the South, the slave states. That's because we've been under oppression for so long. We still passing down that negative energies that the white man taught us. And we think it's true. A lot of people there, oh, you can't talk against my Jesus and stuff. You the devil. No, you crazy. No, you crazy for believing that, but why you upset? Because I go against your belief and what you think is real. Because if it was real, you wouldn't be upset. But no one can back their religions up with facts. Because if they had the true facts, everybody would be on the same religious page. So the religion I'm talking about is African spirituality. And once we get back to that, we will follow the African spirituality religiously. You don't need a book to pass lies down. So what you think you need a book to pass the truth down? A book is, we are not defined by a book. We are defined through nature, the universe, and evolution. And it defined us first. Millions of years we ruled this planet before as any other white person, Japanese person, American Indian, everything. The whole planet was black people. The truth is in the dirt. So you start digging up the dirt, you're going to dig up blackness all over the planet. So you need heat and moisture to grow things. That's why Africa was so hot, and that's where we evolved in Africa. In the Great Lakes of Africa, that's where man and woman evolved from. Woman and man. I'm gonna put it first. She was here first. And see, back then the woman was worshipped because they knew her importance and her power that she possessed. So they worshiped the woman and treated her like a queen, not like we treat each other now. That's the way they used to treat each other, primitive ways. Beat their women, rape their women. That's where a lot of gayism started too, because when you're outside the law and you kill off all your women and eat them, who else you gonna, because you still got that instinct to procreate. That's why the Catholic Church, what's they Trinity, the Father, the Mother, I know the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. How you gonna leave the Holy Spirit, your ancestors last, and leave the mother out when she gave birth to the Father and the Son? That's why they the ones wrote the Bible. They said woman came from man's rib. They trying to make the woman seem like she's lower than a man. She's the villain, not the man. So every time you see pictures of them priests, they always got a little boy standing by. So they known for gayism and turning to them boys gay because that's what they promote. They brought that to us. There wasn't no gayism going on in Africa. They brought that to us. We was giving our boys right to passes. Men were raising to be fathers and be husbands, and women were teaching their daughters how to be mothers and how to be wives. Right now, we're not teaching morals. You think love is under a Christmas tree and all these birthday parties and stuff? All you're doing is giving them positive reinforcement for negative behavior, teaching them to be materialistic. And this has nothing to do with raising your children and sending them to Sunday school to get indoctrinated, to churches. This has nothing to do with nature's laws of raising your children. We're in the age of materialism and information. But the materialism is all right, but that comes secondary. Secondary. Your first nature is the one that's got to be molded and shaped. All those gifts and stuff, that's secondary. So we've been so brainwashed, they flash all these toys and all these foods and things on the rest. They plan on your subconscious mind. That's why they show it over and over again. And they use music, especially black music, to plant these seeds in your head. So then you might watch an Arby's commercial over and over again and say, oh, I don't like that. But one day, all of a sudden, you get a taste for Arby's. You start to salivate. That's because you've been programmed through repetition, subconscious. You're not even conscious of what they're doing. The music, they lower the vibration. Keeping our youth in, they lower vibration. They lower their primitive state of mind. They even lowered the frequency on there. You see, everything is about frequency. When dolphins use radar or sonar, that's frequency. Bats, they use frequency. Everything is built off frequency. Even our languages is frequencies. It's energy. Knowledge is energy. That's why they say, lack of knowledge, you will perish. So the brain is like the black hole. It will suck up so much energy and so much knowledge that you could ever imagine. It's infinite. And one thing about us, we suck up all of those energies through our hair, through our skin, the melanin that come from the stars, the cosmic energy, the gamma rays, all of that energy from the earth. We even pick up vibrations from the animals and everything. The wind, everything is built off of vibration. Even the earth is vibrating right now. It's shaking. You can't feel it, but it is. Everything is built off of spirituality. Everything's spiral. So when you spiral, it creates energy. It's like a spinning top. You can spin it, but once it starts losing energy, it'll start to wobble, and then it'll slow down, and then it'll drop. So the spiritual energy that's we lacking is stopping us from keeping us in our lower chakra from getting to our high chakra, our crown chakra. So to get past that, you got to be able to control your emotions. You got to free your mind of all those lies and everything. And then once you do that, then that energy will go past the heart and go all the way where it's supposed to be, at the crown of your heart, the mountaintop, the promised land. Because once you reach that pinnacle, that higher self, then you will really feel the true freedom. Freedom of the mind, chains off the brain. Because everybody, right now today, everybody is in mental slavery. Don't know it. I'm not going to say everybody. The ones that are becoming conscious They done broke the chains already. The ones that already liberated their minds. And that's what it's all about, liberation. So we've been under hypnosis for long enough, but the thing about it, they believe what they believe, and they believe that they are right and we are wrong. This man the other day, I was taking a long time in the line. He was a white man. He's at the end of the line. He started hollering at me. And I told him to shut up. He said, no, I kept on. I said, well, I tell you this. There's a lot of people in the store. He was at Home Depot. Black and whites is in. I said, I'm going to tell you something. I said, that white supremacy is over with. Y'all time is up. You can't tell me what to do. I said, I'm your father, so you need to shut up. He tried to go back and forth, but I kept on talking. His ears started burning. He covered his ears. And next thing you know, he put his hand together and he started submitting. But see, he didn't know what hit him. He messed with the right one. Because like I told him, I've been waiting my whole life to tell y'all white people about y'allself. Black people too, anybody. Because the message I got is for the just and the unjust. It's for everybody. Now, once you hear it, now you're accountable. And that's when the real battle going to begin. Okay, and it's going to heal and it's going to kill. That's not my call. They say everybody had a time, chance to repent, and all the messages and the signals are there. It's right in front of you. So this is, like I say, we done seen the power of hate, and the hate is going away. Only the power of love could conquer all this hate. And they got to go through us. That's why I say the world need a little bit of soulology. Like I say, soulology is the study of self, study of the moon, the planets, the sun, everything connected, the souls of everything. That's what soulology is. It's going to give you your original truth and your original connection to all souls. Because we are the soul brothers and soul people. They don't call us that for nothing because we are. If you're not conscious of it, we still are the messengers, the messengers of the truth. Let's look at our music and everything. We've been delivering the message, but haven't been conscious of it. But we've been singing from the heart and speaking from the heart ever since we've been over here under all this oppression. Like I say, our greatness still been shining through. They hung us from trees, they shot us, burned and separated our families, and we took it. We still here. You can't kill God and the goddesses. So, like I say, this has all been a part of evolution. This has been a process, and we've been processed through 400 years of oppression. It turned us into a superhuman. And people ask me, say, Mike, we got superpowers. I said, yeah. I said, I'm really just not finding out how super we are. And the more I read about astrology, and the more I read about the melanin and how powerful it is in the carbon and how everything is connected. And I understand that we had to be the ones that heaven sent, in the sense of this, what you want to call it. We heaven sent. We the first astrologers, first mathematicians, first navigators, you name it. Before it's any other person, colors of people on this planet. It's all one color. So all colors come from us. And that's what I told that man at the Home Depot. I said, I'm your father. I gave birth to you. You didn't give birth to me. And I said, y'all time is up. And he started submitting and putting his head and bowed down and stuff. And see, I didn't ask for that, but they bow down anyway, whether you know it or not. You can look in their eyes and they're going to submit to you because this is a natural thing and it's in their DNA to be able to submit to the alpha males. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. The alpha males, they get all the women. They don't take a lot of crap from nobody. Them beta males, they're the ones that the women will run over. Say bad boys ain't no good, good boys ain't no fun. You got to know when to be good. You got to know when to be bad. Because why they say when it come to sex and partners and stuff, the women do the choosing. They ain't looking for the alpha males, just like in the animal kingdom. That's just the way nature planned it. The powerful genes get the, and the women look for that. Is this man a provider? Is he, can he protect my family? Can he do all of this? Is he man enough? So we got to understand sex, spiritual energy exchange. It's supposed to be sacred, but right now it's so out of hand. Sex sale. It's not supposed to have no price tag on it. Like I say, that's the part of your brain that want to fornicate. But you got to teach that child to control those emotions. If you don't, they're going when they become teenagers and you got your head turned and stuff. Oh, they're gonna do it. You ain't even got to tell a 3 or 4 year old child about sex because it's innate. It's an instinct. You got to teach them to control those emotions. Because me myself, they say you grown when you're 18, you can get out of the house. No, you're not finished. Your brain don't stop growing until you about 26, 25, 26. They don't stop developing until then. That's when you get set in your ways. So a child, he's not really grown when he turned 18. He still got to go through a process. At least 7 more years of brain development. Because once he get out there and stuff, he got to experience a lot of things. And if he was taught right here to she, they might go the wrong way, but once they learn from it, they say, I won't go back to that because my mom and daddy told me not to do this. And most of the time, that's something that told you not to do it, but you weren't taught to be obedient. You did it anyway. And you keep doing it until you learn, I'm not going to do this no more. And that's the way the brain is trying to heal itself. So sometimes you got to hear your inner self. It talk to you all of the time, but you don't know. You call it something. That's your ancestral wisdom, your knowledge. Our ancestors visit us all the time and communicate. Even after death, your parents, they die, they still talk to you. And that's one thing my mother told me. She said, Mike, the dead talk louder than the living. And I didn't understand it until after she passed. So I still talk to my mother and my father every day. It's been over 20 years since they passed. But the lessons they taught me, the seeds that my mother planted in my head, they were all positive. They weren't negative. They were all positive. And I'm glad she did that. And I understand the power of the woman's tongue. That's why I say she's the giver of the law. And my daddy, he enforced the law. They weren't always on the same page, but it was kind of dysfunctional in my house, but I had to find out why. Because my mother was trying to get me to love this white Jesus, and all the time, excuse me, everybody was hating my black father, and I didn't understand it. How you gonna love this white man on this picture, but everybody hated my black father? And come to find out, my mother was leading the charge against my father. So when I started meeting people, when I grew up and left home, I started meeting women and meeting people, and I saw the same similarities in other people's homes. And I said, I knew this stuff was programmed and stuff. I said, this is not natural. Our women, what book is that? When women ruled over the men, I think that's the book of Isaiah. And a lot of women think they rule over us, think they could tell us what to do because that's the way our oppressors did it. They put the woman in front of the man and us behind the woman, scared and afraid. See, that's why the child support thing, baby mama drama, uh, I'm gonna call the police on you. All this stuff been programmed into our women by our oppressors because they after the black man's image. They want to destroy his image, our image. as black men and give them this white image to worship. And it's the white Jesus. But scripture tell you he's a black Jesus too, okay? So the white Jesus, that's their story, but that black Jesus that's in there, that's us. JES-US, just us. So when they wrote their Bible, they got that from old African folklore, the Book of the Dead, all of these things, and wrote their story into it. Allegories. Turn our truth, our history into allegory. Like it's their history. But their history is all about cannibalism, killing each other, wars. What's mine is mine, what's yours is mine. They got that attitude, so they call it their lower vibration, their lower brain, they reptilian. It's about survival. So when they got trapped over in the ice age, away from the rest of the world, they got trapped in their minds. And they still carry that same mental illness with them. Who made that arrangement that you could govern over people and tell them what they can and can't do when you're not doing it? You can walk around and act self-righteous all you want. A lot of people do it, but you got this nerve in your head called the trigeminal nerve. Say, ain't it funny how the way the feel shows on your face, your emotions? You can't hide it because of that trigeminal nerve. Whatever you're feeling is going to present itself. If you're angry, it's controlling your anger, your muscles in your face. If you're happy, it's controlling those muscles. If you're lying, it's also controlling those muscles because all you got to do is look in the person's eye, especially the left eye. You can tell if they're lying. The power of the left eye. They say that's the eye to your soul. And right now, we two in left brain thinking. We two left brain. Brain's out of balance because that's the masculine side. Feminine side is your right brain. So the masculinity is taking over. It's all off balance. And how do you get off balance? Because of white people. Like I say, how they treat their women and everything. They didn't respect them. So they made everything off balance, especially when they took the black man out of the house. We put you in the projects, you give you food stamps and medicine for your children, Ritalin, which they don't need, but you can't have a man. See, it's all about design, social engineering. When you're in grade school, they teach you to pledge allegiance to their flag. That's why they had a big mess over Kaepernick. We kneel to the flag because they're getting you to submit to. See, it's all kind of satanic rituals they give us that we don't even know about. And it's right there in front of your face. But if you're blinded by lies and stuff, you'll never see it. If you're on the hypnosis, you can't see it until you hear it. And our brains process information the way you hear it, not the way you see it. So they create an illusion, and you don't have no proof of it. Oh, Jesus coming back. When he coming back, and how you know he coming back? Because somebody told you that. But seemed like he'd have showed up by now. No, that's all fairy tales. I say the brain can be tricked to believe something that's not real, and all the time it's illusion, but you don't even know it. So, like I say, once you hear the truth, you can't unhear it. And we're not defined by a book. You can read the book all day if you haven't figured it out yet. You never figure it out. Because once I open my mind up and I free my mind and I start reading, I read some things. I don't read, I read a lot, but I'm not going to read a whole book, especially when I already know what's in there. Because once I start reading, I know this information already. I don't need it anymore because I don't already put it together. And see, that's the ancient wisdom and knowledge that's working inside of me. It's opening it up. So I could read something on something else, but then put another subject together because of what I read on the other subject. And it was scary to me at first how I'd be putting things together, but I said, this is natural. This is why our brains are second to no one. We get our rhythm, we get alphabets and all of that from the universe counting. I didn't understand that either at first, but all of this stuff is universal. That's why we don't need a rocket ship or spaceships to go up there. We got the pineal gland that give us the astral projection. Once you reach your highest chakra, then you had the astral projection to the etheric bodies of the universe. And that's when I saw ET phone home, and I said, this thing had a connection that we have. So when I first saw it, he say phone home, something registered in my brain. I said, it made me curious. I started asking questions. So I was on the quest. Once I asked that question, I was on the quest. Now I know. That's why the Bible is first and foremost is a book on astrology. It started off with astrology. And all those black men in there were astrologers. So the wise man, all the wise men was astrologers because they was connected to that universal message, the laws of Moai. So like I say, once we unite and we lift our voices, what's joy to the world, the Lord has come, take the Lord out. Let heaven and nature sing. See, it got to be back in sync. We lift every voice and sing. And that's when everybody's going to unite and put that voice out there. And it's going to go throughout the earth, nature, and the universe. Send a signal for purification. And that's what we're going through, a purification. They said, Mike, there's a lot of people dying and stuff. They drop it. I said, yeah, it's part of evolution. It's cleansing itself. Nature know how to cleanse itself. It know how to correct everything. Nature dictate our lives every day. People don't even know it. If it get too hot, you gotta dress down. If it get too cold, you gotta dress up. If it rains, you gotta get out of the rain. Start thunder and lightning, you gotta adapt to it. It's not gonna adapt to us, and that's for everybody. Because what if the sun didn't shine? There would be no light. If the sun didn't shine, the moon wouldn't shine because the moon get its energy from the sun. Just like all the uh, planets get their energy from the solar system. So, like I say, between the moon and sun, it create nature, create different seasons because the tilt of the earth and the rotation around the sun. So once we reconnect to all of this, like I say, we all of this, and then, like I say, it's up to the black woman. Once she go back to her true state of mind, because she's not in her true state of mind, that's where the anger come from. Because your emotions will stress your own self. You kill your own self with your own emotions. You don't even know it. You say, he made me mad. No, you made yourself mad because if you didn't like what they say, you couldn't control your emotions. So the first thing you're going to do is get mad. You're going to be ready to fight or flight, kill or be killed. A lot of people don't kill you. See, that's their primitive instinct for survival. You think somebody trying to take something away from you. And what people fear mostly is the unknown. If you don't know the truth, and when you hear it, it's going to scare the hell out you if you're not ready for it. If you already liberated your mind, you hear somebody speak it, you humble and everything inside, you accept it before anybody else. The angry people, they'll run. They can have a gun in their hand, but they'll put that gun down and run. Might even shoot their own self. See, so we got nature and the universe and our ancestors. They got our back. All we got to do is wake up now. Activate what's inside you. We activate that, we activate the world, purification of the world. So first be put last, last be put first again. That's us. We was first, we've been put last through slavery. And all over the world, we've been persecuted and put last. Now it's time for us to become first again. And a lot of people think because what they did to us, we're going to do it to them, but that's not our true nature. We're going to be back to being civilized. And we had to teach them how to be civilized. So we the saviors of the world. The time, the days going by faster, that's because the planet is sped up a little bit. We still on, we, man's time and natural time. That's why the days feel like they're going by faster, but it's the same time as man. It's the same hourly days and 24-hour day in the same time period what man count. But they still going by faster. That's bio, that's bio spirit time. That's natural time. So after this 400 years, that's why disease, this ease, the COVID, all this dysfunction going on because we going through that purification. It's just like a woman cleansing her body. We on that cycle of cleansing, that Passover. And what else they call it? The Passover, the change. That's all I got to say. The zodiacs, they tell you when change gonna come. They say you never know the time, but if you understood the true meaning of the zodiac, the processions on them, they go backwards instead of forward. We just left the age of Pisces. We're in the age of Aquarius now. That's the water barrier. That's when life began. That's a new time for new beginning. Conscious awareness, galactic alignment, spiritual alignment. This has happened before. This is just the last time it's gonna happen. So once we understand our true nature, and that's the only weapon they got against us is keeping the knowledge of our true nature. Y'all might hear me repeat a lot of things over and over again, but through repetition, that's how we learn. And that's how you instill. You been listening to lies your whole life and got them instilled in. The truth is the same way. You got to keep repeating until people get it. Some will get it right out the back. It might take a year for some people to get it. But once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And it's up to that person to get his own knowledge and own wisdom, where the wisdom, once you unlock yourself, you had a wisdom, but it's up to you to get your own knowledge. Can't nobody change your mind but you. Can't nobody change your brain. You go to psychiatrists all you want to. All they going to do is give you pills. But you run into a soulologist, you don't need no pills. All you need to do is hear the truth and you can heal yourself. Healthy, heal thyself. HEALTHY. Heal thyself. Free your mind, the rest will follow. We done heard all this stuff before, and it's real. So like I said earlier, what we seek, we already possess. It just need to be activated. It's time to activate. I was watching the Hotel Rwanda the other night, and the the Hutus against I forgot the other ones. But anyway, they were the same people, but the Belgians, the French, they came and split them up. They took their nose sizes and colored their skin, just like they did every place else, divide and conquer. And they turned those people against each other. If you want to say white devils and stuff and some satanic, there you go right there. If they call him the white devil, who is God? It got to be us. God is the truth, the devil is a lie. So you can teach your children by lies or by the truth. But you don't know, you think you're doing the truth, you keep teaching the truth, and all the time they lie, especially with the religion. It's all religions recruit their own children, they indoctrinate them. I told my granddaughter about about Christopher Columbus 2 years ago. She's 14 now. And I told her that he's a cutthroat pirate, that he killed all the indigenous people over there in Haiti and brought the Africans there. That's how they got there, you know. I schooled on it, you know, but they hadn't talked about it yet. So she knew about it. So a couple of weeks ago, she came home and she told me they was talking about Christopher Columbus, and the teacher was telling that he discovered America, you know, blah blah, you know, the same lies that they've been passing down. And my granddaughter said, no, it was people already here, and he didn't step foot on uh, the land of America. And he made, as far as he made it, was the islands, the Caribbean. And she ran everything down and had told her. And I asked her, what did the teacher say? She said she went on to another subject. This is a white lady. So what I'm saying is we got to teach our children instead of letting them teach them, indoctrinate with their lies and stuff and their beliefs. You see, when the teacher couldn't answer, and I know what went through her head and said, oh, that's a smart little girl and stuff. And she just blew me away because she went against that belief and that core belief, what she believed. But she didn't get upset or anything like that. She just went to another subject real quick. I said, you gave her something to think about. But I had already told her the truth, so the teacher couldn't come back with nothing else. She had to accept it because deep down inside, she knew what it was. It was a lie, indoctrination, you know. So we got to educate our own children about our own African spirituality and our own story because they are our future. No child left behind. Like I say, each generation gets smarter and wise. I grew up during Martin Luther King and Malcolm X era, the radical 60s. And I absorbed a lot of that energy from a lot of those brothers, the music and everything. So I'm in tune with the message because that soul music, that's the most powerful music. It's singing about our true nature, how we feel about each other, how we're supposed to love each other. But we sing it and talk it, but we don't act it out. We're doing the opposite. That's why we got to examine our own self instead of examining each other and other people. People complaining, but nobody explaining. Why this person do this? Why this person do that? Why do you do what you do? You see wrong in other people's eyes, but you can't see your own wrong until somebody tell you. Then you're gonna be in denial. So we got to understand our true nature. And I keep saying this over and over again. That's the only weapon they got against us, keeping us from the knowledge of our true selves, our true nature. Get to know thyself, our African proverb. That's what it's referring to. And the reason I say your own battle is in your subconscious mind, between the conscious and the subconscious mind, is that part of your reptilian brain, it would devour you. Your own energy, your own emotions. If you're mad all of the time, you just don't know what effect it have on your heart. The heart get bigger when you're upset, when you're ready to fight, and you start arguing, you get bigger, and the blood start pumping, and that's when you're at your immune system is at its weakest. And you walking around angry all the time, you stressing your own self out. So you using your own emotions to destroy your own self. And if somebody make you mad, that means they controlling your emotions. That means they controlling you. And a lot of people get angry at the smallest things and make something little make turn into big because they don't know any better. They haven't been taught better. Everybody would do better if they were taught better. That's the bottom line. But a lot of people say, "Oh, I was raised right." Yeah, you was raised right. Okay. Why you went to jail for 15 years and out there robbing and stealing? That's what they told you was raised right. You just choose to do that. No, nobody chose. No child's path was chosen for them. I mean, no child chose their own path. It was chosen for them. Now, some people can when they get older, but then no child chooses to be no serial killer. You know, that's the path he got put on because he probably had an angry mother, an angry father, and they pass that energy down. So positive or negative, whatever energy you put into your child, that's what you're gonna get back. That's the bottom line. And like I say, the politicians, religious people, they have no answers. They don't have a clue. The educated people, they don't have no answers. And those the educated ones are the most feared ones. They're the worst ones because they think because of their degree, I'm smarter than you, and you know, but you don't have no common sense. You might have some book sense, but no common sense. So to me, you're just an uneducated fool that went to an uneducated school, and they indoctrinating you in their school, in their schools also. They're not teaching you African history because they know if you know your true history, you'll feed the roots that's in you. See, a tree without roots, it won't grow. But the tree can have roots, but if it don't have a message of the root to nourish the root, it won't grow. So the roots will be waiting to be activated. You nurture with the truth, that's when it's going to grow. You grow within instead of without. See, we looking at the physical world and the spiritual world. Both of them go hand in hand, but they got to be in sync with each other. So you can still be in the spiritual world and your instincts, your intuition and everything is talking to you loud and clear. But you of the world and in the physical world and things that's in the world, then you won't listen to it. But it still talks to your true instincts. But they've been altered to think that because I got money, my instincts is going in my pocket and I can get whatever I want. I can buy whatever I want to buy. But like I tell everybody, money don't have the power we think it has. Because in the first place, it was made by the white people. They took gold and then turned it into paper money. Their face is written all over it. But on the back of the dollar bill, you see all Egypt. What they doing with the pyramid? They didn't build no pyramids. Yeah, they still can't figure out how we build them. The aliens, so-called aliens, they can't figure it out. They're not smart enough. So we at a pivotal place in evolution. This is all part of evolution, like I said. So me myself, I don't really hold no grudges or anything against nobody because I know it's all part. And it was written that it was going to happen. Slavery, everything. But it's also written that it's going to come to an end. So everything I'm talking about is already written. It's going to be carried out because that's the way the universe and nature want it. And can't no force go up against those two deities right there. And our ancestors, can no forces. We paved the way for the whole world, but why do you think the rich people got all the answers when all of the time they're the biggest liars and biggest thieves on this planet? You take away all the money out of the world, how would you survive? The rich man had to come to the poor man because the poor man is the one that's going to inherit the planet. He's the wise man because he's going on wisdom, how to survive. He closer with nature. Just like these homeless people, they never get sick because they're outside all the time and their immune system is more stronger than the ones that stay inside and eat all of the time because they're in tune with nature. We're supposed to be outside more than be indoors because all these enzymes and everything that's going through the air and coming out the dirt, they help you build up your immune system. Animals live outside and they got some hell of an immune system in the cold, in the hot, in the water, everywhere. But they got to eat certain foods to keep their immune system strong enough where they'll be able to adapt and survive. We the same way, but we done got up into this Western medicine They don't have a cure for nothing. They might fix it temporarily, but only nature got the cure. Cure for all diseases. During slavery, we didn't pay for medicine. We made our own medicine. They would sit back watching, copying. We didn't have no money. We had the barter system. We exchange. Even swappers is not no swindle. That's where they come from because everybody's about to survive. We had unity. You had the midwives. They were giving birth to the children for eggs. Eggs was valuable back then, you know. It was like money. But if you had a midwife in the family, it was free. They used to have funerals at the house. They had to wake at the house. People be sitting there laying up in the living rooms, taking them to church and burying behind the house or behind the church. It was all free. But they came and put a price tag on that. So nobody had to pay to come in this world and leave this world because it's naturally going to happen. But they put a monetary value on it. Can't put no monetary value on life. That's why I say money don't have the power we think it has. We got the power. The wise man, not the rich man, got the power. So the truth is coming from the hood. That's why I say that Black Jesus, he didn't hang around with the elite, the rich people. He hung around with he was in the hood, the murderers, the thieves, the prostitutes. That's the Black Jesus. He was hanging around with the truth because he knew once they woke up from their hardship, their hard life, that they was going to be messengers. Just like us. We waking up from this 400 years of oppression, and we some hellified messengers too. And I say they stole the fruit, but they couldn't steal that root. Now it's time to activate the root. I stopped watching television so much because I know the same thing is repetitive. Everything is, I'm just watching the universe and doing more studying and absorbing all this positive energy that's coming through me. So they say you can't predict the future. That's a lie. The Homo sapiens sapien. That's the very, very wise man. And they were able to predict the future. That's why they wrote it in the book. There's nothing new under the sun. The SUN. So alien, ALIEN, a lie in you. That's what the real true alien is. That's why people so stressed out and trying to comfort their brains. That's why they turn to drugs, alcohol, because they fighting a disease. They're not at ease. See, when you get to that natural high, you don't need all those stimulants and all of that. Once you master your own emotions, can't nobody touch you. That's when you really be at peace. When you power a self, when you power your own self, not power over other people. So slavery turned us into a superhuman. We were super already, but we superhuman because of that. The struggle our brains went through to get back to the original vibration, the high vibration. It's like we had to re-evolve all over again, back into where we had already evolved into, if you want to put it that way. So you had to be mentally strong for change to adapt to it and understand nature and the universe to adapt to it. You had to be mentally strong, especially when it's calling us to wake up and tell the truth, because this is the only truth that's going to line us up and bring peace to the earth. That's where it's no S at the end of the word truth because it's only one. And it's gonna knock the hell out of all these other religions. That's why I say religion and politics is in their last days, because they do go hand in hand. They say they don't mix. Yes, they do. Now, all their ideology and crap they done created just to control people. They control your fear emotion. Two main emotions we born with: love and fear. All the rest of them come for that. They play on it. Fear. They put fear on you, make you believe something that's not real, like that voodoo and superstition. But see, people don't know we started a lot of these things. That's where they got it from. They got it from us. So what they doing to us, we used to do it to each other. And say we the fallen angels. We the ones that fell from what they say, the grace of God, from His laws, from the universal law. That's all it is. The laws of Marat. We start making our own laws. So that's another thing about the reptilian brain. It's selfish. So when you get in that selfish state of mind and you're not raised right, you're gonna think everything revolve around you. And that's when you become a destroyer, and want to rule over people and trick people's minds and stuff just to be in charge. So that's how evil people are created. They talk about the royal blood over there in England. The royal blood is the black people. I don't care if you're old man sitting on the sidewalk, sleeping outside, you still royal blood. You still have something they don't have. So that's why I talk about brain development. Nobody else talk about it, not on TV or nowhere, because they don't want you to know about your own brain, because you know you'll figure it out, and they can't control you no more. They won't be in control. They know this. But like I say, this is Mike Hammer. They've been feeding off our energy long enough, and it's time for us to unite. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. These are all facts. And it's a fact that we are the vanguards of the New World Order. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because it's already written, and it shall be carried out. And like I tell everybody, me myself, I could jump in that fire right now, in that flame, because it's lit. It's hot around the world. Just give me a platform and I could jump out there right now. I'm not worried about no man or nobody, or no guns or no money, none of that, no religions. Because universe, my ancestors, nature got our backs. And I'm in tune with all of them right now, and it's talking to me. And that's what it's telling me to do. It's telling me to say. To my ancestors telling me what to say, but also, like I say, I communicate with the stars, with the universe, with nature and everything. I hear the birds, I hear the elephants, I even hear the sharks in the sea, because I know their stories, and I know it's all connected. And we taking advantage of them because of lust, materialism. You're killing off all the sharks because you want to make this so-called aphrodisiac, this shark fin soup, when they're put here, they necessary. You stealing all the tusk from the elephant just to make all of these ivory ornaments and all kind of stuff, but you're not thinking about the life of the elephant. They're here for a reason. They're all part of the program. The whole world is a stage, and everything and everybody plays a part in it. So, like I tell everybody, this life is a duty. You can have fun and games, but it's still a duty. We're responsible for the caretakers of the earth. Period. So, like they say, it's time for Jesus to take the wheel. It's time for us, just us, to take the wheel. The mothership connection. Mawat. Y'all done heard these things before. We've been singing it the whole time and talking about it. Cosmic energy, cosmic echoes. So people's behaviors out of behind, out of They're out of control for a reason, and they don't even know it because the signals from the universe and nature is messing up their energy. It's either bringing the best out of people or bringing the worst out of people. And I'm glad it's bringing the best out of me. This guy asked me the other day, said, Mike, if you was back there when deep into slavery, say you wouldn't have lasted long, would you'd have been? I said, man, I don't know what I was doing back then. I said, I'd like to think I'd have been rebellious, but there's a lot of people that were. Everybody wasn't submitting to them. And the ones that didn't submit, they didn't mess with them. They respected them. So I learned from being down here in the South that people was using spiritual power to keep the white man off of them. And they could feel that energy too. You show no fear and you smart and you know more than them, they will not mess with you because they know who you are. You just don't know who you are. Get to know thyself. This is Michael Hammer. I get back with you real soon because it's getting hot around here. The fire is burning hot. It's time to put the flame out. And the only thing that's going to put the flame out is the fire they shoot from my mouth. Peace out, brothers and sisters. Talk to you soon.